For a weekend winter break, Stockholm has got to be one of the most beautiful cities to visit. Made up of 14 separate islands, it's one of the best preserved and largest medieval cities in Europe. Getting around couldn't be easier either, as there's 57 bridges connecting all the islands. The city's transport links are also excellent, and with regular trams, ferries and buses. Whether you visit Stockholm in the summer or winter, the scenery is breathtaking. Hotel Skeppsholmen is a 15-minute walk from the city centre. It's a hotel of understated luxury and style and one of the most historical buildings in Stockholm.
The history is going back to 1699, when King Carl XII decided to build housing for his private soldiers. The architect who was in fashion at this time was Tessin the younger one, the same one who did the Royal Palace here in Stockholm. So they are extremely listed. On top of that, we are on something called the Swedish 100 list. The government, who are the owners of the buildings, have a list that they rank the best 100 buildings in Sweden, and we are on that list together with the Royal Palace, for example. They are super protected, and they were built for the soldiers as barracks. And the story says that the architect got inspired how the royal court outside Paris at this time were housing their soldiers. And that was often in long, very narrow buildings. So the hotel consists of 2 buildings, each 100 meters long. So in one way I can say it was quite easy to convert them into a hotel, because the layout, it was there, and we were not allowed to move any walls, etc. But then of course, to get all the facilities of a modern hotel into a building from 1699 was super tricky. In all the rooms, for example, there is 2 hooks for your outdoor clothing. That took around 6 months for the government to get approval from the Beauty Council. Same with the bathrooms. If the government would like to kick us out when the lease is out for around 25 years, they can just take down the bathrooms without any impact of the hotel rooms. So for example, a normal double room today is the same layout as it was around 1710. At that time there were 6 soldiers sleeping in that room, which today catering for 1 or 2 persons. The interior designers are called Claes and Koivisto Rune, is 3 gentlemen. Our luxury is much more, I would say, sublime. You know, we are on this amazing green lush island in the city center, even though it feels like you are on the countryside. Our luxury is that we are into historical buildings. The whole concept is Swedish, so whatever we do is something that we can buy in the city. We have a lot of guests coming to Sweden for food or shopping or interior design. The interior design and the shopping lately in Sweden has been booming. I would say 5 years back ago, all the major international fashion houses has been arriving to Stockholm.
There's Marc Jacobs, Louis Vuitton, Hugo Boss and Christian Louboutin, along with many more luxury brands if you're looking to buy something special. There's also a great array of high street stores if you don't want to max out your flexible friend too much. For families or the men in your life that don't necessarily enjoy shopping and are looking for something a little more exhilarating, the city centre ice rink provides a beautiful backdrop for some winter fun for the young and old. You definitely won't feel the cold after a few circuits, and the rink's surrounded by food stalls. So afterwards you can enjoy some mulled wine while watching other skaters struggle to maintain their balance on the ice. Obviously, the ice rink's only available in winter, but Stockholm in the summer is an equally fun and beautiful place to visit.
It's a lush green island, and I normally brag that we are the only hotel in Stockholm where you can go down and swim in the morning, play tennis on the ever first outdoor tennis court, founded 1882 by Oscar II. And then I would say we are the only city hotel where you eat breakfast, lunch and dinner outside on the terrace and amazing gardens. So you feel like you're in the archipelago, but you are really in the city center of Stockholm. We are very lucky to have the Modern Museum as our closest neighbor.
The Stockholm Modern Museum is home to some rather quirky pieces of art, as you'd expect from a modern art museum. The exhibitions are regularly updated, and whether you know lots or absolutely nothing about art, it's well worth a visit, even if only to challenge your existing concept of what art is or what it should be. It's not a place to rush around, so take your time and enjoy the spaces, as there are very few boundary lines, allowing you the chance to get up close and personal with the pieces. The inspiration or meaning of some are more obvious than others. If you've a head for heights and want to admire the city from a bird's eye point of view, the Sky View experience outside the Ericsson Globe, the city's national indoor arena, is the way to do it. At 425 feet above sea level and nothing but 360 degrees of glass separating you from the outside world, it's not for the faint-hearted. But if you can brave the elements, the view of the city is worth it. One of the best fine dining restaurants in the city is Michelin-starred Upra. It's part of Hotel Chef Salmon's group, and the head chef is also head chef to Sweden's royal family, so diners can experience the same meals enjoyed by the country's royal family.
The head chef for the group, we are very proud that he is also the head chef for the royal family. When the Crown Princess Victoria got married, let's see now 3 years ago, he did that menu for them. So you can actually have the same dinner if you are as a group as all the guests had at that royal wedding. No, we're very proud of that. Absolutely.
Did Crown Princess Victoria's wedding and the sister Princess Madeleine's wedding. I've been cooking for the Royal Palace for 17 years. It's similar to what we do here, but of course to cook this kind of food for a 400, 500 person is something different. I love cooking for the royal family. They're so fantastic, the whole family. They're so interested to food, so it's funny when you cook to somebody that really is interested and really likes food also. It has a long history. It's been like this in 1898, and 59 they did the big renovation of the old house, and 1961 they had the grand opening. Quite classic feeling in the restaurant. So the funny thing is I discover things all the time. I just discovered those animals up there 17 years after I've been working here. So I didn't know about that because it's so amazing. It's like a museum, so it's a lot of things to discover.
The food is exquisite, and it's not every day you get to eat such fine food in such a splendid dining room. Many of Stockholm's spas are also set in rather grand and traditional buildings, and if you're looking to immerse yourself in some serious pampering away from the busy shopping streets, then a day at the Central Bade Spa is exactly what you need. You'll find most of the larger spas have swimming pools, saunas and steam rooms, along with hot and cold water treatments. And you'll need to be brave, as their cold is freezing. But a warm jacuzzi followed by a traditional Swedish massage, and you'll forget about anything cold. As an archipelago, the best way to see Stockholm is by boat. Each of the 14 islands has something different to offer, from royal palaces, museums and great shops. During the winter months, it's a great city break, especially if you like the snow but aren't too keen on winter sports. In the summer months, Stockholm's lush gardens and trees spring to life, and if you enjoy freshwater swimming, then a stay at the Skeppsholmen Hotel is a must, as it's the only hotel you can walk directly to the water's edge. Even in the depths of winter, Stockholm is warm and inviting, and an absolute must on your list of European city breaks. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal and the country's largest city. It's also one of the oldest cities in the world. Over time, Lisbon's been influenced by many different far-off cultures, yet this very cosmopolitan city has managed to maintain a very intimate village feel. Getting around the city is easy, and there are tons of modern tuk-tuks to flag down. The grand yellow buildings of Palace Square used to be the site of the country's royal palaces until they were demolished in an earthquake in 1755. Possibly the quirkiest building in Lisbon is the Santa Justa lift, designed by a student of the great iron craftsman Gustav Eiffel, whose crowning glory was the Eiffel Tower. Imported from America, trams were introduced to Lisbon in the 19th century. They'll take you directly to Palace Square, where there's a tiny beach. It's also one of the best locations to photograph the famous Abril Bridge, built by the same company who constructed the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. A short drive along the coast from Lisbon is the quaint town of Cascais. It's one of Portugal's most popular destinations. Here you'll find cobbled squares leading to sophisticated laid-back restaurants, golden sandy beaches, and one of Europe's largest casinos. Just a few minutes' drive outside of Cascais town centre is the Oitavos Hotel, named after the 8th lighthouse along the coast. The hotel's ethos is all about space and allowing guests to experience as much of it as possible, hence the size of the hotel. It's huge. The interior design is very simple. There's lots of blue to represent the ocean, mirrors and floor-to-ceiling windows, so guests can constantly experience as much light and the great outdoors as possible.
When we decided to do this hotel, we've analyzed what we could do, and basically we've seen what was being offered in the area of Cascais. And we've also questioned ourselves about who was visiting this area and why were they visiting this area. And so getting back to the first one, what was being offered in Cascais is only traditional buildings. So we've identified an opportunity to make a contemporary building. And when we've asked who were visiting this area and why were they visiting us, we've understood that we're mainly people coming from Central Europe and Northern Europe, people looking for the light and the sun. So we said, okay, let's make a building that we're going to have a lot of light and sun. So that's why you have this amount of crystal in the whole building, floor to ceiling windows everywhere, to allow the light to come inside, and also at the same time to allow people to take advantage of the beautiful surroundings we have in this property. The property has been bought in the 20s by the great-grandfather. The pine forest and the sand dunes that you see, they haven't been here since ever. The pine forest was planted. It had a purpose, which was to keep the sand dunes fixed so that you could develop the whole property. And so to have guests coming and enjoying what the great-grandfather envisaged it's quite unique. So that's why the building came to be what it is. Surfing and sailing that are unique and make a big impact on the guests that are looking for us. In the surfing side, this is probably the best destination in the whole Europe if you're a surfer.
The hotel is set within its own 18-hole golf course, which was described by Paul McGinley, PGA Tour and Ryder Cup player, as having the potential to be the best course in Europe.
Golf course is beautiful. Golf course, I was once asked, why do you think this golf course was ranked by, there's a famous golf ranking in the US called the Top 100 by Golf Magazine. And they've asked me, what do you think? What took you to get to the top 100 by Golf Magazine, which is this famous ranking? And I said, location, location, location. The location of this golf course, more than the hotel, it's everything. It feels, when you're playing this golf course, it feels like the Atlantic Ocean is about to eat this piece of land. We think we have a unique landscape. This is not a manicured garden. This is something you will not be able to recreate somewhere else. If you'd like to, it's impossible, because this is a peninsula. It has its proper flora, and then the umbrella pines planted on the ocean. It's unique, and we think that we would like to have everyone taking advantage of this unique vision of this peninsula.
Taking full advantage of the views is the Fort, a private villa on the highest point of the golf course, which guests can opt to stay in rather than the hotel's main building. Like the hotel, the theme of constantly experiencing the surrounding environment is continued, with floor-to-ceiling glass on the ground and first floor. But don't worry about privacy, these are tinted windows. It's a one-bedroom villa with 360-degree views of the Atlantic Ocean, the Cabo de Roca, the westernmost point of mainland Europe, and out towards the hills of Sintra. In the 19th century, Sintra became the first centre of European Romantic architecture, which resulted in it being named a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The brightly coloured facades, steep cobbled streets and alfresco cafes make this one of the most beautiful and popular towns in Europe. The Palace of Sintra, with its whitewashed walls, was for a long time the residence of the royal family during the summer months. Originally a Moorish palace, it became property of the Portuguese crown in 1147. Today, it's an important museum for Portugal's history. Thousands of tourists flock here every year, with the fittest walking high into the Sintra Mountains to visit Peña National Palace, still used today for state occasions.
The first impact, normally, people think that the hotel is really modern, no? But I think it's the opposite. It's nothing modern inside, just steel and the glass. So it's like you have the table and the chairs in the middle of the nature, of the sand, and this is, and you have the natural light is transversal of the room. It's really nice. And after that, when you sit down at the table, you forget the wall or the glasses. You forget everything. You just see the sand and the grass and the sea. I like the Portuguese kitchen, Portuguese cuisine, yes, but I'm not Portuguese, so for me it's complicated to cook the Portuguese dishes. No, I cook the Portuguese cuisine my way, but it's not truly Portuguese cuisine. My way, it's like a whole French, I think so. It's focus on the product, nothing more. Because it's not, my objective is not transforming the flavor, the original flavor. No, my truly objective is put in a plate the basic flavors, the true flavors of the product. And it's interesting because the guests right now, some guests do it eating the first night, and after that every night is coming and say, what do the chef today? Is a question, is a surprise. What happens tonight? And it's nice. It's a good relation between me and the guest. It's nice. The chef's table is different because it's just 4 or 6 guests. Donc it's a private table, and this is different because you have a different proximity of with the guest. You create some moment, special moment. This is good for me and for the guests too.